Hi guys, welcome to a new video on the channel, and in this video we'll be making a very long flowing wrap dress, just as you saw on the thumbnail. And so guys, if this looks like something you'd be interested in watching, please continue to watch this video because we'll be getting right to it very soon. And in that time, please do not forget to like this video, to subscribe to this channel, and also to turn on your post notifications so you're the first to be aware when we post a new video. So guys, let's get right into the making of this dress. So to begin, I already have my measurements on a paper, as you can see, and I'm going to be using my tape, a chalk, and just a ruler. So for this one, I'm going to be drafting the actual dress on the fabric itself. I do not want to use a drafting paper, although you could use a drafting paper if you're not very sure. You can cut yours on the fabric directly. So guys, for this I have folded my fabric into two, as you can see, and I'm using, and the full length of this, or rather the width of this folding, I'm using 23 inches. And so this is like my bust circumference divided by 2 with an addition of an extra 3 inches. And so guys, this is what I folded into. So this is what we're going to have. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark out the half length of this of the dress, which is going to be from the shoulder point up onto the waist point where the joining is going to be. So guys, we've drawn our half length line, which is on this point here. Now we're going to come back to the top here, and we're going to take out the quarter of the bust circumference. For me, I'm going to be using 10 inches, but I'm also going to be adding the 3 on the end. So this is where, because I also still have like an extra 3 inches allowance on this side, so I'm going to be using 13 inches rather. So we're going to make the marking here, and we're going to roll on the straight line. We're going to roll 13 inches of the straight line to touch on this same half length line, just like this. And so guys, we're also going to roll out the 3-inch line because we're not going to directly touch it. We're only just going to use the 3 inches. It's just going to be on the side of the dress, just as extra allowance in case when necessary. This is what we have, our line here as well as our line here. So now we're going to come to this middle point here, and we're going to draw out our shoulder and our armhole and every other thing that we need in this in between line here. So guys, to make this less confusing, right, because you might not be able to because of this extra here, we're going to fold this part in just to make it look like it doesn't exist at all. Then we're going to work with the rest of this fabric just like this. So we're going to assume that this here now is the beginning of our fabric. So guys, now we're going to mark out our shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2. So from this point, from this beginning line, which is actually our beginning line originally, taking away this point, we're going to mark our shoulder to shoulder divided by 2, and it's going to be this point. Don't also forget to take out your normal neckline measurement. We're going to be using 3 inches for this. Now on this shoulder, on this armhole side, we're going to mark out our chest line. For this, we're going to be using 8.5 inches, right? Then we're going to come to this front part, almost like as if we're making an illusion neckline. Let's mark out our 3 inches, and then let's connect it to the neckline like so. For this point as well, do not forget to take down the 1 inch like we usually do. So if you come here, if we measure out 1 inch, which is this point, is going to meet with this line just like so. So this is what we're going to have. Right now we're going to make these lines curve in to meet with the shoulder line, just like this. So guys, I hope you can see what I'm doing. Now on this chest line, I'm going to mark out where I have my shoulder to nipple measurement. For me, it is on like this 10.5 point, right? So when I want to make my neck depth, I do not want it to be deep up to, I don't want the deepness to be up to the nipple point, because I do not want my cleavage to show so much. So being that this is 10.5 for the shoulder to nipple measurement, we're going to slant it this way, and we're going to take it up by 1 inch, or let's make it 9 inches here, because when we're also sewing it, we're going to eat a ½ inch into this, so it's still going to open it a bit more by ½ inches. So this here is where the slant line is going to touch on our chest. Now we're going to come to the end of this fabric here, right, which is where our wrap dress should be. We're going to measure 3 inches from this waistline that we have drawn. Okay, let me move it up so you can see better. Now we're going to measure 3 inches. This here is the line that we have drawn for our half length, right? This is the line that we have drawn. Now we're going to measure 3 inches up from this line, and that's where we want our this line to meet. So guys, you can choose to use your free hand to rule, or you can choose to use a curved rule. So I would be using a curved ruler for this, and this is what we have. And I'll just make your lines bold, just like this. And so this is how our wrap is going to look like. Right now we're going to open this point here, this part of the fabric that we folded in, because we do not want to make the mistake of cutting it along with this. Now don't forget to extend your armhole into it. Now remember this shoulder to nipple point that we drew out before. Let's extend it straight to the end, because when we're making this, now let's open this down by like this much, because we're going to make a dart on this point so that it doesn't fold on this side here, so that we don't have it folding on this side. On the contrary, just to make space for the breast side. So let's make a V to look like this, right? So when we're making this, we're simply going to sew it down just like this, so that it creates enough room around the sides for our breast. Now we're going to go on to trim this top side, after which we're going to mark out for the bottom. So guys, just because I forgot to mention, in the drawing of this line, I added 1 inch to this half length. So the measurement of this line is from the shoulder to the waistline plus 1 inch, just so that you have your measurement correct. So guys, this 3 inches here is because we're going to be adding a belt that is like 2 inches, and then we're going to take out ½ inch for the folding at the top and a ½ inch for the joining at the bottom. So now we're going to split this side here just like this. Now we're going to notch this point, right? So this is what we have. Now if you were to overlay it, this is what we will be having. I think when making yours, you notice that maybe the neck is a bit too closed or anything like that, you can simply replace it and just trim it out a bit more. But this is what we'll be having basically. So guys, now we want to cut out the back. So to cut out the back, we're going to, as we did for the front, we're going to measure from the shoulder to the half length, which is the waist. And then once we've measured our shoulder to our waist, we're now going to draw out a simple bodice for the back, and then take out our dart and use it to cut the back. So guys, in the folding, as you can see, we've already drawn out our lines. Now in the folding of this, it was body circumference divided by 4, then an addition of 3 inches. As you can see, this is what we have, which is 13. Right now we're going to go on to take our shoulder measurement, which is this. Then also don't forget to mark out your neck measurement using the same neck width you used for the front, which is 3 inches. Then we're going to drop this by 1 inch rather, as we did for the front, and then make a connecting line just like this. Now for this back side, I'm going to be using 2 inches in depth for the next side. Then we're going to join this 2 inches to it, and now we're going to measure out our armhole as we did for the front side, and this is what we have. Right, so guys, now we're going to go on to trim this out. So this is our back, this is our back pattern. Now we're going to mark out 4 inches because we're going to also put a back dart here, so we're going to also nudge these 4-inch points just like this. So guys, if you're like me and your fabric is literally looking like both sides, you want to put a marking just so that you don't confuse the front for the back. Hey guys, so now this is our top part that we cut. We have joined it together. You notice we've joined at the shoulder. Now this is the back side, and we've also put the back darts, as you can see. Now for the front side, I've also done the side that's supposed to be on the front, and then the same thing for the other side as well. Right, now we want to shape in this. Now to shape in this, it can get a little confusing, but this is a good way to shape in it, right? So we're going to turn the front sides together to face each other just like this. So we're going to put them to be exact, right, with each other just like this. And so you can see what we have. It has actually aligned into one just like this. Now we're going to use our tape, and we're going to measure 13 inches from the end here, because don't forget our body circumference divided by 4 is 10, as well as 3 inches in allowance that we initially put. So we're going to pin on the 13-inch straight line just like that. So guys, now we've pinned it, as you can see, on the 13-inch line. Now we're going to open it back to rhyme just with the back. We're going to arrange it out with the back to be just like this. And this is how we are going to shape in it, as you can see. So guys, this is my own material. You can see that I have already shaping it already, and then I've also trimmed out excess allowance. Now the only place that is left for me to trim out is the difference between this armhole side, which I'm also still going to trim out. So let's just trim it out. So guys, this is what we're going to use for the rope of the wrap dress. So for this, I'm just going to fold this and cut it into 2 strips, and this is for each one. The measurement is about like almost 5 inches, so that when we fold it, we're going to have like 2 inches for each. So we're just going to divide this into 2 as the rope, and then we're going to sew it on the machine. So guys, now we want to go on to cut the A shape for the bottom, and for this we folded our fabric into a triangle. As you can see, we folded into 2 to meet at the tip here. So guys, you're actually going to need a lot of material to cut this. So for this, we're going to be cutting out 30 inches, right? So now we're going to do our waist circumference divided by 4. What you have for that 4, you're going to bring it down to a point here, and you're going to mark it out. Now don't forget to add 1 inch onto this side. You can be able to adjust if need be. So that's what we're going to do on this point, to be able to cut out our back side, because this is the back side we're cutting out first. So here we're going to, as I mentioned, so here we're going to do our waist circumference divided by 4, and then we're going to add 1 inch in allowance. And so we're going to come and we're going to mark it on this point, just like this, because we're going to use it to draw. We're drawing out the A shape for the back. Now this is going to be our starting point. Now from this starting point here, we are going to measure out 27 inches, 27 to 30 inches, depending on what your own length is. So I'm going to be working with 27 inches, and I'm going to mark out the 27-inch line from the very beginning of that top there. So guys, add 1 inch for your sewing allowance as well, and then we're going to mark out 28 here. So guys, as you can see, this is what we are working with. Now you would also see how I have drawn the line and how it forms a curve on this point. Now, so to be able to get your measurements from this line up to this line, what you're going to do is, now to get the measurement of your A shape, right, from the full length measurement that you have taken for this gown on your body or on your client's body, right, we've already taken out this as our half length, and this is from our shoulder to our waistline. This is our half length, right? We're going to subtract the measurement of this from the full length measurement. Then at the bottom of this gown also, we're going to have a flounce. Now we're still going to subtract the length of the flounce from the total length, or from what is remaining after you have subtracted this. Now whatever you have remaining, that's the in between, that's like going to be your A shape. Now you're going to add 1 inch for your sewing allowance, and that's how you're going to get the length of this A shape that we're about to cut out. So guys, this is the back side after we have cut it out. As you can see, this is what the back side looks. Now we're going to also cut this out for the front but this time I'm going to make it a half of what we did for the back instead.